Dogecoin to the... No. What's going on, bros? I'm not going to do it to you. But he will. He's back. Final Stand is back, and he's making content almost daily now. We had a stream 4 days ago from him, and now we've got a stream just 9 days ago. 9 hours ago, correction. Bros, if you are tuning in, things are getting bullish. Dogecoin getting some crazy pumps here. It is absolutely insane, and of course they're coming out of the woodwork. The Dogecoin advocates, $6.09. The price prediction here from Final Stand. It's a little outrageous to be calling 6.9 before we've even gotten to $1 on Dogecoin, but of course that's his style. These mega pumpers, right? You love them or hate them, they are out and they're back at it. Final Stand, in my mind, is kind of an indicator that he's started, streaming much more consistently now. He got suggested to me. It was my very first video that was suggested to me this morning. I always check that on my phone because it's important. What is the algorithm seeing that I'm not? And what the algorithm seeing is that people are getting very bullish on altcoins and specifically today meme coins, right? So these are important indicators. Indicators of what? Indicators of what, T-Shroom? Are we topping? Should I sell? Am I going to be poor if I don't sell today? Relax. Take a deep breath. I think that he's an indicator of the bull market, right? The fact that he hasn't made a whole lot of videos is a whole lot of live streams is more indicative of just the lack of traffic here on YouTube. You all have seen it. If you've been in multiple crypto cycles, you've seen that we have been in a dearth, right? A kind of a low point, a sag in the amount of traffic here on YouTube, but that's okay, right? He also has been putting out a lot of content on Twitter. That content has shifted more to like political analysis because, that's what's getting clicks. But now, ladies and gentlemen, as of this morning, Final Stand's focus is back on Doge. And if you are a Dogecoin holder, you are very happy to see, one of the biggest champions of your meme coin, Dogecoin, back in the scene, making live content. And I gotta say, is for as much of a moon boy as Final Stand is, he definitely continues to chock it full of helpful statistics and actual math and actual logic of why you would want to buy Dogecoin. Dogecoin is one of two of the meme coins that I hold. My other meme coin I will reveal at the end of this video, so make sure you stay tuned. Folks, we're going to be hearing from a former Ronald Reagan economic advisor who seems to have flipped orange. We're going to be hearing from him here in just a few seconds. We're also going to be looking at why another crypto narrative that could actually be positioned to beat not only gaming gems and gaming category of crypto, but also AI. We're going to be hearing about that here in just a second. There's some Wall Street analysts who are predicting that it's actually not gaming or AI that is going to outperform the rest of the altcoins. It's a different category. So we're going to be learning about that here in just a few seconds. But before we go anywhere in the stories, make sure that you are subscribed to the Investing Bros, and also consider going ahead and smashing the like button. You see what I did there. We're having fun already. Let's go ahead and check out the bubbles here. Pepe up almost 30%. Bonk said, hey, I see you're 29%. I'll raise you 34% here. We got Ordy. We got Stats, both up more than 8%. IOTA making a little bit of a comeback back into the realm of relevance. Let me know in the chat. Are you a big IOTA fan? IOTA. Is that something that's on your radar? Of course, Doge up 12.2%. Looking very, very good. Phantom Coin, nothing to shake a stick at here. FTM getting that 24% boost this morning here. We are well into March. I believe this is the first, I think it was either, I think Saturday was the first stream of March. But this is the first, I believe, morning stream for the Investing Bros in this new month. ADA up 5.5%. Look at that. Beautiful. ADA, guys, I'll just go ahead and jump to the conclusion of this video. I'm going to do it to you, right? ADA is the coin to rotate into, in my opinion. I have DCA'd into Cardano more than any other coin in the last 48 hours, by a lot, by probably like 10x, right? Any other coin that I've bought. And that is because it's underbought. And that is because it has a history of waiting until all of the other coins have popped before it pops to the upside. So that's really the reason. It's remember, when we're in the bull market like this, it's low brain cell thinking. It's not super complicated. You're drawing out all kinds of, crazy Fibonacci forks and all that stuff is great. Don't stop doing it if you're good at it and you're trading profitably with those things. But it's also like a little bit lower brain cell thoughts can get you a long way. We talked about it last week with Caleb Franzen, and that's you remember that bell curve, right? There's people at the top who the average person is losing money in crypto, right? But then you have the super smart person who's making money. Maybe they've configured a bot to trade for them, or they just are in all of the Telegram chats and they're seeing all the best coins super early on. And then there's really dumb people who are basically trading, making the same amount of money as the super smart people, but they're just sitting there drooling, barely conscious, and just buying and buying and buying. So, of course, you can't just indiscriminately buy like that. But the point is that right now, because of what the halving does to Bitcoin value, there's really an argument for don't overthink this. And the biggest and easiest way to make money right now is to just watch these waves. Watch these waves of altcoin phases, right? And ADA tends to be a laggard and tends to be a coin where, when all of the other coins are pumping, like today, when the meme coins are pumping, Cardano will get a bid, right? But it's not Solana, right? And it's not AVAX. It's not already led the market. It's a lagger. It comes in after. And so a lot of folks, they go ahead and they take profit in, the meme coins, maybe even Bitcoin and Ethereum, and they rotate into Cardano towards the end because they know that that's going to be the big pump ski coin. And this is relevant for the macro cycle of the 4-year cycle for Bitcoin. I know I'm talking about Bitcoin and Cardano here. Hopefully you're able to keep tracking with what I'm saying. So it's relevant to the overall 4-year cycle, that ADA lags. It's also relevant to the mini Bitcoin and altcoin seasons. So something to keep in mind there. We have a lot of data that does prove that after all the big coins have pumped, right, Cardano will come in and pump after, which is kind of a cheat code, to be honest. You're welcome. You shouldn't expect anything less from the bros than low brain cell analysis of how to make money. You gotta love it. All right, let's take a look here at Bitcoin charts. You can see we're on the 4-hour, getting well into this premium zone, kind of printed here by ALGO. ALGO also has this awesome oscillator matrix down here. You can see Bitcoin still in this oversold zone here on the 4-hour, even got a reverse delta there to kind of show, hey, look, things are going up, but they might come down. Now, what we've been saying here in the Investing Bros is that we need a refund on our overbought indicators because they're not working. Folks, just continue to expect overbought indicators to be ignored by price action. That is, again, my assumption is that if I'm seeing something is overbought, whether it be the MACD or proprietary indicators like ALGO or any proprietary indicator, that essentially can be not ignored. Like, don't ignore anything that you see, right? But you can have less of a weight on that if it's importance. So that's kind of my overall thoughts there. Let's dive a little deeper. Let's go down into the 1-hour for Bitcoin. So we're right here on this level that I had drawn out, trying to make some support here right at 64.7, and it looks like we're doing that pretty successfully. Although we did just get a wick, kind of looks like a little bit of a pennant was forming there down on the 1-hour. Of course, this isn't super relevant to just hodlers, so we'll back out of that, but might have seen a lot of traders get liquidated here on that wick as they thought, oh, this symmetrical triangle is going to break out higher. Well, it didn't get through the premium zone. It got rejected there on the 1-hour, but that's the 1-hour, right? That's just the 1-hour. Let's zoom back out to the weekly here for Bitcoin because we want to do some analysis. We want to do some analysis on exactly what is going on here because, folks, there is a good chance that today we hit an all-time high for Bitcoin versus the dollar, which is a big deal. I'm seeing in the headlines that we've hit all-time highs versus the Aussie dollar and versus the euro, right? So it's only a matter of time. It looks like we're only about, let's make sure we get an accurate assessment here. We're only about 5 or 7% away from all-time highs, depending on what depending on exactly what, like I'm on Coinbase, what exchange you're looking at price data from. Yeah, call it 5 to probably 8% away from all-time highs, from 69,100, I believe, is kind of the most accurate quote that I've seen for all-time highs for Bitcoin. We're days away, potentially. We could see that today. We could see that all-time high today. I'm only seeing bullish news. I'm not seeing any like, oh, Gary Gensler coming out and saying he's going to completely ban everything. Like, there's not really any kind of like FUD right now. It seems that the bulls are taking control, not only on the charts, they're taking control in the headlines. Let's go ahead and dive in and check out exactly what I mean by that. Let's start off with this story right here, bit from Bitcoin Archive. Grayscale. This is a little bit of actually a bearish note. So strap in. Grayscale ETF outflows have spiked to 1.1 billion in the last 2 trading days, most likely to be Genesis bankruptcy liquidations. Good news is organic outflows were down to a trickle before this liquidation. So yes, we have seen a big spike in the Grayscale ETF outflows. As you can see here, this is not what you want to see. These are people selling Bitcoin ETFs on the Grayscale side. Now, I'm not alarmed by this, because it coincides with an event, with a fundamental moment, right? That is that Genesis bankruptcy liquidation, right? But the Grayscale outflows have been the biggest narrative around buy the rumor, sell the news event of January 10th, when the SEC approved the spot Bitcoin ETFs. So that is something that I'm not ignoring, something I'm monitoring. It's not something I'm fearing, right? And it's not FUD. It's not FUD. It's real. It's provable, and it is bearish, right? But I think it's very temporarily bearish. And look at the Bitcoin charts, guys. Over the weekend, we rallied. We haven't been rallying during the weekends. We've been waiting until Monday. Well, Monday is here, and we've got our pre-rally. Like, literally, it's insane. With all-time highs today, I would not be surprised. I wouldn't even bat an eye at it. I'm very, very bullish. Before we get to our next story, we had a little bit of salad there. I kind of teed you up for some bullish stories. We're going to get to the bullish stories. I forgot that I had that one in there. It's good to know about, but you want to have your salad before you eat your steak. It's good to take your vitamins before you drink your slushy. Let's go ahead and jump in here. Redman saying GMT Shroom. Redman, of course, one of the amazing leaders over at Billy Goat Tales. They have a great X Spaces on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in on X Spaces to Billy Goat Tales. You'll be glad you did. And hey, givers gain for sure. Drew XRP said ATH invalid adjusted inflation adjusted. Okay, so a little bit of a misspelling there. Catching T Shroom off guard. Hard to interpret it when it's misspelled sometimes. But hey, look, I can't blame anybody for I am the king of misspelling things. Crazy. I never thought 8 all-time high before halving. Seems likely. Yes, Gonzo Lag. It does seem likely. However, we're not there yet. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. Make sure that we are understanding that we're not there yet. When Chirpal speaking about Bitcoin. So the next time Chirpal, about Bitcoin, I don't know. But they do have a Fed meeting on the 18th of this month. So March is a Fed month. We will be hearing from the Fed this month. I don't think that it's going to be all that significant. Dylan Martinez, yo, T Shrooms, can you check out Coinbase pre-market today? I think it's going to be a massive pump. Can I check out Coinbase? Well, it's just so easy for me to do that. Let's go ahead and jump on over and give it a check. I don't know why we would want to look at. Oh, maybe I do know why. Yeah, this thing, Coinbase is pumping pre-market. It's pumping through. It's pumping up to this resistance that's right back in here. Pre-market, yeah. So coming in, this is Coinbase stock. If you're not in the U.S., you may not be able to buy this. $218 per share, not a coin. It's a share, even though the ticker's coin. Oh, the irony. But we are coming into some historic lows here, which are going to be proving as resistance, and it's also the equilibrium zone here for the weekly chart. But you can see, even on the weekly chart, this is a big pre-market move. What percentage is this? 6.6%. So that's significant. I mean, Coinbase can fly, so I've seen higher numbers on the daily move for Coinbase, but that is big. Thank you so much for shouting that out. Redman throwing up the giver's gain. Gotta love it. Army Piper said, get it, bro. Mark, oh, the Dogecoin tail bought at dawn, soared to the moon, grandkids in Lambos. Sale. Absolutely. Now, guys, I own Bitcoin. I own a lot of Bitcoin. Dogecoin, I own like I have a little bag, right? But make no mistake. I put Dogecoin on the thumbnail. I'm a fan of the meme, right? But I am in no way exposed to Dogecoin financially in the same way that I'm exposed to Bitcoin or Ethereum, right? These are different utility, beats, memes every single time. Not by gains, but by wisdom. I'll put it there. But does that mean never buy meme coins? No, I just told you I bought meme coins, and I'm going to reveal at the end the other meme coin that I own. A lot of the bros already know. But yeah, so, be careful with meme coins. Can you make a lot of money? You absolutely can. You can also lose a lot of money getting caught up in the fervor, in the fury, and in the FOMO. So let's go ahead and jump on into those bullish stories that I promised you. Thank you so much, bros, for tuning in. We got to hear from you a little bit here. Before we go, let's see who was the first chat. It looks like it was a mellow fellow. It's a GM Bros. Hey, Nancy. So Nancy Croy in here as well. Justin Eubank said, yo, get 'em, bro. Ninja Glock, good morning. Let's get into this story here, guys. Fun fact, the last time Bitcoin broke the previous cycle all-time high, the price more than tripled in just 103 days. So we've got to, because it happened in history, it might happen again right here on our front porch. Let's take a look at it. That would take the Bitcoin price to $213,000 per coin by June if this repeated. Now, this is pretty insane. So you can see here historically, back in 2001, you can see that it came up, and Bitcoin came up. Yeah, Bitcoin kind of moved into this rectangle zone here, right? But then came back down, and then broke that high, making an all-time high, and then from there it was 103 days. So it's pretty radical. You could also say it happened here, where it came up, had a correction, and then made an all-time high, and then eventually moved up over 103 days, 210%. So we could be in store for that type of a move. We could also be in store for an even more bullish move, right? There's talks that this could be the super cycle here that we're moving into because these ETFs came before the halving, and it does seem like they've had a bit of a bullish impact on price. Guys, if you think this one's bullish, just wait till I show you the next story is going to rip your face off. But $213 per coin is definitely in the cards for my analysis on where Bitcoin could get. Are we going to see that in the next 103 days? I don't know. I think that might be a little soon. I think that more than likely we need to have at least probably 2024 come to a conclusion before we start to see that level. But who knows? Who knows? And that's why my philosophy overall is sell during the time that you want to sell, not during the price, because the price volatility for Bitcoin is going to be insane, right? But we know that by fall of 2025, prices are going to be at their peak elevation based on historical analysis, right? And so am I going to sell my Bitcoin at that point in time? I don't know yet. I don't know if I'm going to sell my Bitcoin. I'm leaning towards not selling my Bitcoin at all because it's emerging and it's starting to be understood and fully understood and adopted by the world, right? In the way that I think it's intended to be. It's the new gold, right? So I'm not sure what I would rotate into other than maybe real estate. Like what is a better vessel of my investment, of my wealth than Bitcoin? And there's not really one in my mind. Real estate would be the only alternative because I need to have a house at some point. I don't mind renting for a while. I don't. But at some point I'm going to have a house. So that's the only time that I think I would probably sell Bitcoin. Totally different for the Bitcoin mining stocks that I own and for the altcoins that I own. And that's just the reality of it. And that's why you have to very, very much limit your deep kind of romantic relationships with some of these projects. And you're sitting there, I don't have any relationships with these projects. Think a little harder because I'm pretty sure you do. You ready for this next bullish story? Let's get into it. Bitcoin Archive, the Emir of Qatar visits El Salvador in September. Does anybody know what's going on in El Salvador? Well, they have fully adopted Bitcoin. They've made it legal tender. The president there, Nayib Bukele, has made Bitcoin basically the coin of El Salvador. And a lot of the folks there love it. Some of the people don't understand it. That's okay. Max Kaiser said, "It's happening." Bitcoin archive to this quote. So of course it's been bullish. It was very bullish last cycle. El Salvador making Bitcoin the legal tender there in the country. But the fact that Emir of Qatar is visiting is very, very big, right? Because El Salvador, they don't have a lot of wealth. They don't have a lot of money. That's why they took this risk, right, in going ahead and making Bitcoin legal tender. They didn't have a lot to lose. Whereas Qatar is probably one of the biggest economic, heroes as a country in the last 2 decades, right? Qatar, I believe they got rich selling natural gas, and they just kept getting rich because they launched an airline right here. But more evidence here, more bullish evidence. Qatari private jet in Madeira during Bitcoin conference. So this is a big conference in Madeira that actually has seen quite a bit. I think so. Jack Mallers was speaking there, and Jack Dorsey was also speaking there. So there's a lot of Jacks, and there was a lot of fun, and there was a lot of bullishness, and some very rich people were there to observe it, and clearly they have some interest. So this is that's a pretty big jet. That is a pretty big, pretty big private jet there for the Emir of Qatar. Of course, an Emir is a leader, someone who's making decisions on behalf of them. So you can see their flight schedules and stuff. I don't know how convincing that is. Next day, Bitcoin breaks 65,000. Probably nothing. So there's a fun little thread. I don't know that we saw. I think if the Emir of Qatar decided to buy Bitcoin, it would pretty immediately push it to all-time highs because there's just not a lot of supply of Bitcoin right now on OTC or Coinbase markets or like traditional markets. So I think the amount that they would probably go in with, it would probably rock the market a lot more, right? A lot more than just pushing it up like $2,000 or $3,000. That's just me. Maybe you guys have a different analysis out there. I've got this former Reagan economist soundbite to play for you guys. Kid Coman said, "It's so frustrating. Not exactly sure what's frustrating." Said, "Everyone around me hodling their melting dollars." Oh, right. Yes, that is frustrating. That is frustrating. The best you can do is just keep trying to educate them, educate, and don't let them rub off on you. Don't let them out. Don't let them like try to convince you that you should sell your Bitcoin or your Dogecoin for that matter. Redman said, "Samesies T-Shroom." Drew XRP said, "T-Shroom is my level-headed spirit animal." That's what I try to be. It's what I try to be, folks. It really is. We have a not so level-headed article coming up about Cardano. You're not going to want to miss it. But before we do, let's get into this video here from a former Reagan economist warning of government interference in digital currencies. Let's take a look, folks. Let's take a listen.
If you look at money, David, prior to 1913, the money supply of the U.S. was basically in private hands. I mean, the government did define what a dollar was, 1/20th of an ounce of gold or 1 ounce of silver, and they did do minting, but everyone else did minting too, and it was the issue of currencies from banks that caused it. We did not have inflation for the 2 centuries up until 1913 when the Fed was formed and the government started controlling. Since that time, there's been an enormous explosion of the quantity of money and a drop in the value of each dollar to, I don't know, what is it, 1/50th of its value in 1913 or something like that. It's just crazy how it's done. We need less government control and more private banking, which is what Bitcoin is, which these other currencies are, as far as I know and I believe. I think they really are the answer to the government's money problem. Well, if you look
radical. So this is bigger than you realize because of the channel, the network channel that he's saying this on, this Fox Business. If you're watching outside of the U.S., you may not understand. You may have never even seen this logo. This is a big boomer logo. So a lot of boomers, a lot of people with a lot of money watch these types of shows. And a lot of conservatives really value this name, Ronald Reagan. He was a president here in the United States, and he was very, very popular with conservatives. He's seen as kind of the ideal conservative in a lot of ways. Some people, obviously, there's people that are going to disagree with that for a lot of different reasons. But the important part is that someone associated with the conservative establishment is saying something very bullish about Bitcoin on a currently establishment television show, cable network show. Folks, we are in the bull market. These are the signs. These are the indicators, right? We have the pumpsters coming out. They're coming back, right? These are guys with big YouTube channels. Let's see. He's got 230,000 subscribers, a lot of subscribers, right? Final Stand coming back, pumping. And then we've also got the guys at the other end of the spectrum, right? Laggards, conservatives, say conservatives, I love them to death, but they tend to adopt to new technologies and new ideas slowly, much more slower than, technologically progressive folks, right? The politics here to me is irrelevant. It's much more about caution and fear of new things and things like that. You see it when you see somebody like this, who is a former Ronald Reagan aide, Ronald Reagan advisor. It's a big deal, right? And it's a big deal, maybe not to you and me, because we're already bought in, right? We're well exposed to crypto, but there's a lot of people out there, like your dad or your grandpa or your uncles or whatever, who are sitting on a big pile of McScrooge Duck cash, right? But it's all in American stocks like ExxonMobil and like a Home Depot and things like that. And it's yeah, that's not necessarily a bad investment. I'm not saying go tell your grandparents to sell all their stock and buy Bitcoin. Not what I'm saying. Your grandparents, that would be a mistake for your grandparents, more than likely, if they're nearing retirement or in retirement. I genuinely believe that. I don't think that they should own. I haven't told my grandmother to buy Bitcoin at all, because it's just that's not the right thing, right? She's not a gunslinging, wheeling and dealing. She doesn't even tell her manager what stocks to buy, right? And there's a lot of people in that trough, but there's a lot of people who just watched this video, right? Watched this live coverage on Fox Business, who are sitting there I do trade stocks fairly actively. Where I'm on the phone with my wealth manager every once in a while. Maybe I should go ahead and tell him to allocate 10, 20, 30, or maybe $200,000, $500,000 into Bitcoin, whether it be through ETF or through spot. And that's going to be more and more of a conversation that takes place in the United States from boomers who are watching these types of sound bites, right? They're going to pick up their phone, and in those conversations with their financial advisor, they're going to say, hey, it seems like it's a lot easier to buy Bitcoin these days. Their financial advisor is going to say, yeah, I just bought some for your other frat bro, and it's doing well, and they're going to be like, huh, well, let's go ahead and get an allocation. I don't want Chad getting more money than me and beating me to that new real estate project, right? It's how these things work. They're very far from appreciating the technology, but they don't need to. They just need to know that price is going to go up, and that people like this are very, very bullish on Bitcoin, and they understand the dynamics between between Bitcoin and the U.S. government. That's another thing to remember, is while it's very difficult for American boomers to overcome the hesitation to buy Bitcoin of it doesn't have any intrinsic value, it's hard for them to, because there's not really an argument that's convincing for boomers, right? Because it's difficult to, you can explain away that hesitation, but it's difficult because a lot of boomers aren't computer scientists, right? So they don't understand how blockchains work. Blockchains are so new. It's not like it's not super easy to convince them of that. However, they do understand the concept of Bitcoin versus the U.S. government. They see the government making bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. They see the debt going up year after year after year. They see Bitcoin price going up and to the right year after year after year outside of bear markets. And so it makes sense to them in that way, right? And so that's kind of what I'm clocking here. Got a story here. I'll go through this one really quickly, guys. Leaving Cardano behind. Altcoins with promising returns in 2024. I have kind of a big point to share here, but you're not going to be surprised. These are the coins that they're recommending, this article on cryptopolitan.com. Optimism, Say, Arbitrum. These are not bad coins to buy, but more and more you're going to see articles that are trying to get you to sell your bags, whether it be altcoin or Bitcoin or Ethereum, whatever it is, to go down or further out into the risk curve. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. The biggest regrets that I have in investing is selling too early, right? If you have conviction in a coin like Bitcoin or Ethereum or Cardano, right? stick to your convictions. Even though you see on a daily basis me showing you these bubbles whenever you tune in every single day at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to the Investing Bros, you see these bubbles, right? And you're like, oh man, I should have bought SHIB. And then you watch a video and it says SHIB is going to go up another 102 million %. And then you're like, okay, I got to sell some of my Bitcoin and buy SHIB. That is the mistake here. And that's what these articles are trying to do, right? They're trying to get you to sell your high conviction bags like Cardano and rotate into. Now these happen to not be that bad of coins, right? But sometimes they'll mix in some complete crap coin that I've never seen before, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating, and I never would have thought that we would be living in a world like this. Would you? My other meme coin that I hold, because I promised you guys, is Ordi. Ordi is the other meme coin I hold. I really think that ordinals are going to be big, and that Ordi has capitalized on getting ahead and branding itself really well. Now it's got some stiff competition, but this is not a video on Ordi, so we'll move on. But I did promise you that. Last story here: Bernstein expects DeFi to make a big comeback. So this is that category of coins that could potentially do better than gaming and AI, according to Bernstein, which is a broker of assets. The crypto market recovery is expected to be broad-based, with decentralized finance leading the charge. Broker Bernstein said in a report on Monday. Here's some of the details. Bernstein notes that 6 out of the top 10 revenue-generating protocols are DeFi applications. These are Uniswap, Aave, Maker we almost never talk about, but that is a pretty big project, GMX, Synthetics, and Sushi. DeFi's folly last cycle was the game of unsustainable yields that came crashing down. The authors wrote, adding to that epitome of unsustainable DeFi was the Luna stablecoin debacle. Of course, that is something that we cannot forget, right? That there are snakes in the grass. There are absolutely projects out there right now. Unfortunately, I might even be invested in one of them that are not going to make it through the next bear market. Now, of course, we don't, that kind of brings up the question, well, what about super cycles? How is that going to affect a potential bear market? That is a question for probably around August of 2024. We'll be taking that question a lot more seriously. Right now the question is, are we going to hit all-time highs before the halving, right? Those are the kind of questions we're asking right now. But this is all things we're taking into consideration here on the Investing Bros. We're trying to keep you guys up to date on the major events, fundamental and on the charts, that are going to affect your portfolio. Join us at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today to make sure that you are seeing Tim and I go hard on the charts and go hard on the stories, and make sure that we are bringing it to you in the best way that we possibly can. If we can do better, let us know in the chat. Let us know in the comments. The comments is a way better place to let us know how we can do better, because we want to serve you better. If you're like, T-Shroom, you need to have a background where it's like cool space. You need to stop having a background like what you have. Or if you're like, Tim, you need to stop drawing so many triangles. Let us know what we need to do better. You have a thought right now of what we can do better, either on the 9 a.m. show or on the 3 p.m. show. Let us know in those comments, because that's how we tailor all of our content toward what you guys want and what is going to ultimately affect your portfolios in crypto. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're trading today, keep your stop losses tight and stay hydrated. See you at 3 p.m. bros.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.